All right, Longhorns with a big win in Ames, Iowa. And you can tell the Longhorns had a lot of pride in that win. 26-16. It was ugly in the first half, but the Longhorns, I think they knew they were going to be in a bit of a fight here against Iowa State, and it wasn't going to be pretty. They just had to get the win. This is one of those times where I think Sark did a great job essentially getting Texas a schematic advantage in this game. Now, John Haycock is one of the best defensive minds in the country. As a matter of fact, Iowa State going into this game had a top 10 second half defense in the country. And then they were the best second half defense in the Big 12, better than Texas, because Texas second half defense, as we know, not as great. They've given up some stuff in the second half of games, especially when teams go past first. But in this matchup, it's 6-3 going into the second half, and Sark has, and I've been talking about this 3 high, 3 down for a while, and Sark has got to figure it out, right? He's got to find an antidote to it. I don't know if he needs to vanquish the 3 high, right? But he's definitely got to solve it because he's going to see it so much. And he's seen it, 4 or 5 times already this season. Talking about Wyoming used it. Rice threw it out there for a couple of plays. U of H used it. Wyoming, it was their base. You got TCU, then you got K-State, and of course Iowa State. And you got one of the pioneers, John Haycock, who's one of the founding fathers of the 3 high, 3 down. And Texas scored right around what they're close to their average is when they go against 3 high, 3 down defenses, which is around 26 points. I mean, they're scoring close to a touchdown fewer points per game when they face 3 high, 3 down defenses. But this game, and I've been saying this for a while, you guys have heard me discuss the chess match within the game. This game is all about Sark becoming a chess master, having to match wits and outwit John Haycock. Because sometimes you don't play the hand, you play the man. Right, and there are times where you gotta be able to outwit the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator on the opposing sideline, and I thought Sark did that. I thought he became a chess master in this game, and there are a lot of things limiting the Texas offense. They, obviously had to deal with Jonathan Brooks and that Jay Brooks injury. There were some other guys getting nicked up early on in that game, and they couldn't find a rhythm. And we knew that was going to happen. I told you guys, without Jay Brooks, he's been the engine for that offense. They're probably going to struggle to find their rhythm early on. They may hit some shot plays here and there, but they're not going to find a groove. And they didn't really find a groove. And Quinn didn't find his groove really in the first half either. And I'll tell you what I saw in the second half, and it's only specific plays. They still really, not until they were closing the game out with that long drive with C.J. Baxter. I don't know. That's maybe the only time they really found a true groove in the game, in my opinion, where they actually found a rhythm offensively. But Sark was able to dial up specific plays, and I thought he did a great job. Now let's go talk about the first drive out of the halftime in the second half, where Texas, there are 2 plays I want to get into specifically here. One is a 2nd and 10, and you're talking about after the second quarter. So the first drive I take is 9-play touchdown drive, 91 yards.
Texas leads 6-3 at that time.
Yes, it's 6-3.
Defense gets a 3 and
Texas,
out.
No, they got
off the field.
Yeah, they got off the field. They made them punt. It was like 7 plays. They made them punt. And I say try to just control the ball. Texas gets the ball back. It is 6-3. And and you get a 21-yard run by C.J. Baxter early on in that drive on 2nd and 7. There's a 2nd and 10. And on the 2nd and 10, they go empty. Now, Sark has started out in empty, took my advice, or at least he agrees with my theory. When you're going up against 3 high, 3 down defense, which their unique strengths is to distort and disguise the defensive coverages and the fronts and the pressure packages really well. Probably better than other defensive displays or presentations. And you have to find a way to force that defense to abandon its disguise and distortion and declare itself. An empty, extreme formation, right? Extreme formations, extreme personnel packages, it forces you to do that. So Sark came out a lot in empty. But I think in the first half, his empty formation stuff, it was largely troubleshooting. I think he was just trying to figure out exactly how John Haycock and Iowa State wanted to attack Texas. And in the second half, he came out with some adjustments to some of his extreme formations. An empty formation was one he used a lot in the first half, but he didn't really have a lot of success. Matter of fact, Texas took some sacks, a couple of sacks, I believe, on those empty formations because Quinn wasn't great when they took his first read away. And when you get Quinn deeper into progressions, as we know, that's when Quinn struggles, when he's holding on to the ball, starts patting the ball, and then he looks a little erratic, right? He looks a little discombobulated in the pocket. And they got to Quinn. They got to him 4 times. 2 of those actually were in empty, which is counterintuitive, guys, because empty formation, from all of my studies, the sack rates drop in empty, right? Because the ball's coming out quick. And when you're holding on to the ball, something went wrong in empty. You're supposed to be holding on to the ball. The ball's supposed to be out, right? Because you don't have pass protection. So Sark's adjustment in empty formation on this play, 2nd and 10, he had X in the slot. He had X run, essentially X-Man. He ran a fake stop on the drag route. He has basically a hesitation drag route, and the hesitation was key, and it was a change up. Now, I'm not sure if Sark made this adjustment or it could have been a side adjustment by X-Man and Quinn. I hope it's the latter, but either way, it doesn't matter. They came out in the second half, and like I said, they won the chess match within the game. And the Iowa State defenders, right, their key is, if this guy is coming down the drag route and he stops, he's my man, I'm going to match him because he's the only guy in my zone. But if he continues, I'm going to pass him off. So essentially, when X-Man comes out and he does the hesitation, he stops, and then he ends up continuing. Essentially, it threw off all the keys for the Iowa State defender. He thought he was going to match him, and he came to match him, and X-Man continues on the zone, and he didn't pass him off in the zone because the other defender thought he was stopping, and the other defender continued to find work. The guy he was going to pass him off to in the zone, he went to go find work. Why? Because, the guy, he already stopped. He's going to get matched by that linebacker. So I can go find work and I can drift. And when he drifted, X-Man went right to that spot, that void that he drifted away from. It's a simple sight adjustment, but it got him a 19-yard gain on empty. And it was all about getting Quinn to buy some time in the pocket. Quinn was already doing that, but when he was buying time in the pocket, he wasn't going through his progressions well enough and effective enough. So what did Sark do? Sark said, okay, I know my quarterback isn't great deep into progression reads. He's just not. We all know that. We've talked about how Quinn's a first read thrower, right? First window thrower. So I'm going to give him a predetermined throw. I'm going to give him X-Man, but I'm going to essentially make it an option route. He still knows X-Man is his read, but I'm going to clear up X-Man. If X-Man's wide open when they run that stop route, hell, X-Man, just stay right there. You're wide open. And he's still your read. But if you're not, and that linebacker does try to match you, then stop, hesitation, continue. All right, and then that was the side adjustment. It was a 19-yard gain. It was beautiful, and it was probably the most successful empty formation play they ran, because the empty formation plays, although exposing the 3 high, forcing it to declare itself, it didn't actually get you a lot of chunk yardage plays. You didn't have the explosive play factor because he was just troubleshooting. He was trying to actually see, all right, and stress that defense to see exactly where the vulnerabilities were, and he found one in the second half. He found another one. Right, on that same drive, the Jay Witt touchdown play, which was stalk, block, and go. Once again, using the keys of a fundamentally sound, assignment sound defense against him. Right, so when he goes to stalk, block, and go on that touchdown play for Jay Witt, was it 3rd and 1?
Yeah, that's a bad spot, by the way, by the official.
It was a bad spot. 3rd and 1, you're going 12 personnel, so you got 2 tight ends in there, and you're going 2-by-2 sets with an offset wing. Everything says run. It all says run. Everything's body language, and even the Jay Witt stalk, block, and go. Beautiful body language by Jay Witt. And you use the keys of Iowa State defenders against him. They're all thinking, all right, this guy's coming to block me. If he's coming to block me, that defender on the outside who's responsible for Jay Witt, you pass him off because he's going to block the defender. You become the force defender on the outside. And it's just what that DB was thinking. All right, you go crack, crack, crack. That means you're going to crack the inside linebacker. I'm going to feel the void there. I'm going to feel enforced run defense on the outside. That's what he went to do, and that's all the hesitation. That's all the little bit of a delay, if you will, that Jay Witt needed, and boom, he's wide open. These are small little things, and by the way, it doesn't cause, at least it doesn't need your quarterback to have to go through a deep progression. It's still one read. One window, first window throws, right? That's a first window throw. The Gunnar Helm play, right? Gunnar Helm runs what essentially is a drag wheel route to the opposite side of the formation. 30 ends up being a 30-plus yard touchdown. That's on 1st and 10, and it's from a quads. They go from quads, extreme formation, right, and motion to 2x2 with the offset wing. They go play action, and he also, stalk, block, and go. All right, so if you go stalk, block, and go, that defender's going to pass you off so he can go force run defense. He's thinking he's a blocker. I'm going to run defend. And once again, using the keys of the Iowa State defenders against him, yeah, sometimes your eyes do lie to you, and he gets an easy 31-yard touchdown. But the key is you're not forcing your quarterback to go through a progression anymore. These are still first read, predetermined throws beforehand. Gunnar Helm's my guy. I'm going to get him open. All right, I'm going to scheme him open with wide window throws, but I'm not going to force my quarterback to go through a progression because against the 3 high, that's when Quinn was getting in trouble. That's when he was holding on to the ball, getting sacked. And usually he checks down really early in that route combination and doesn't even go through the progression. And that's when Sark decided, all right, I can get deep downfield, no progression throws, predetermined reads, first window reads, but I got to scheme him open. And he did it multiple times. It was brilliant. He also did it on that PI with the double move with A.D. Mitchell. Should have been a touchdown, but it was a bad throw. Still got your PI call. Those are 4 plays in the second half. We did the same thing. First window throws, predetermined throws for your quarterback because I don't trust him going through progressions against this 3 high, 3 down defense. And it was a brilliant adjustment.
Great game plan, and that's probably why he didn't argue the 3rd and 1 spot. And because it looked like A.D. Mitchell had gotten the first down on that play, didn't even challenge it, just came out and kind of felt like he had a play. And
yeah,
it's to fake the block is a great one for Jordan Whittington because he's such a good blocker. It would make sense that he'd be blocking in a run play like that because he doesn't mind sticking his head in there. Great play calling by Sark. Longhorns get the win because, to your point, Quinn had taken 4 sacks in the first half because he was going through the progressions and tapping the ball, and they brought extra people a couple times on those. And that team was 113th in sack rate in the country. Yet they had 4 sacks in the first half, none in the second half as they cleaned it up, and give Sark a lot of credit right there. Longhorns get the win 26-16, 4 huge plays that really separated the game on top of the great defense from the front interior.